everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am in a different angle because I filmed a video that required a different angle and I decided I want to keep it. Well, I'm still filming, so we're gonna keep it. I hope you enjoy this angle. If you do, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Anyways, today's video is a nerve-wracking but fun one, and this is actually a video that a subscriber recommended, or a follower, I don't know. It was recommended to me on Twitter, and so thank you, Megan, for recommending this. This is the, trying to tell you what the books on my TBR is about. I don't know how to best describe this. I'm sure I'll have a better title. This is inspired by Witty at Witty Novels video, who did a very similar thing. Basically, I have pulled off of my shelf every book I have not read. They're all sitting on my bed right here, and I am going to go through them, tell you if I know what they're about, and if I do, put it in a yes pile. If I kind of know something about it, put them in a maybe pile. If I know absolutely nothing about them, put them in a no pile. We'll see if this changes my opinion of my TBR in any way. And let's get into it. Also, my battery is kind of low-ish, so cross your fingers we make it through this video before it dies. All right, we'll start off with Leah on the Offbeat by Becky Albertalli. This is about Leah, who is a main character in the first book in this companion series, and she is a side character that this is her in her senior year of high school, going through her decisions and feelings of being bisexual, and I think I know what this book is about, so we're gonna put it in the yes pile. Next up, we have Tales of Beetle the Bard. Yes, I've never read this. This is a fictional storybook set in Harry Potter world where the characters get their ideas of mythology, and it's like children's fairy tales in Harry Potter. I think I know enough about this because of the lore in Harry Potter, but I haven't read it. I don't know what the stories exactly entail other than the ones that are hinted at in the book, but I think that's good enough. Next up, we have A List of Cages by Robin Rowe. This is a YA contemporary about a young boy who is working as a assistant in his senior year of high school to a teacher, and one of the things that happens while he's assistant is this kid comes in for help who has his past foster sibling, and so it's them rekindling their relationship and friendship, and I think that was a pretty good synopsis. Next up, we have The Darkest Legacy by Alexandra Bracken. This is the sequel series to the, I don't know if it's a series, I think it's a single. This is the sequel, though, to the Darkest Minds trilogy by Alexandra Bracken. This follows one of the main characters in that trilogy who did not have her own perspective, named Zoo. Follows the events 5 years later after that first trilogy ended. It was a dystopian. This is them rebuilding the world, like I said, 5 years later from Zoo's perspective. I think with sequels, it's a little bit easier to know what's going on. That's the case here. So far everything has been I know what that book's about, but it's not always gonna be that way. Let's just hope we can keep this train going for a while. Next up, I have Kindred Spirit by Rainbow Rowell. This is a short story she wrote for World Book Day. This is about a young girl who stands in line for Star Wars, and it deals with fandom culture, things like that. I think that's good. It's short, so my synopsis can be short. I think I know this one. And my battery's dying. Okay, I don't want to get too cocky. Let's go with The Inexplicable Logic of My Life. Don't know what this book is about at all, just that Benjamin Ellery Sands wrote it. Let's put it in the I don't know pile. Next up, we have The Becoming and the Reckoning of Noah Shaw. These are the first and second book in the sequel series to the Mara Dyer trilogy. They follow the events of that series after we follow Mara Dyer. I feel like that counts for Becoming, but I have no idea what happens in Becoming, so I can't know what happens in Reckoning, but I know what the general synopsis of the series is, so I think I'm going to put this in the I know what it's about pile and this in the kind of pile. That seems fair. Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zusak. I know this is about siblings, and it's by Marcus Zusak. I'm going to put that in the I know nothing about it pile. Arch Enemies, sequel to Renegades, about vigilantes and supervillains, and I really know what this is about because I know what its first book is about. I feel like not knowing what happens in the sequel is okay because I don't want to know what happens in the sequel without having read it, because that would be spoilers, but I know what this book is about. Kind of. I don't want to say kind of. I know what this book is about. Anyways, I'm going to put this in the no pile. I know what this is about. Next up, we have The Night Film by Marcia Pessel. I know this is an adult multimedia thriller about a journalist an ex-journalist whose former rival's daughter goes missing, and his former writer is a movie guy, and there's a cult following of his movies, and they're wondering if it's related to a cult following thing, And I think that's pretty good for a thriller because you don't really want to know a lot about the thrillers going in. So I think I'm going to mark this as a win. Next up, we have An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. This is about a young girl who sees this like extraterrestrial robot thing come to Earth, videotapes it, goes viral on the internet. Then it turns out there's a bunch of people going, like, not viral, but like a bunch of these like robots everywhere across the world. And so it's her like being thrust into internet fandom and like not fandom, but like fame, internet fame, but also like the sci-fi and all the elements that come along with that. I think I know what this one's about. Look at me go. It's gonna come to an end soon. I know it. Next up, we have Tosh Hart's Tolstoy. This is by Catherine Osborne. This follows an asexual main character who makes YouTube videos about her favorite author, Tolstoy. This deals with her eventual, like, not like fame, but like boost in being known. Like, I think someone like infamous gives her a shout out and she grows rapidly overnight. And so it's again dealing with like internet fame. I think that's a pretty good synopsis. History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. This is about a guy whose ex-boyfriend dies and he goes to the funeral, runs into ex-boyfriend's current boyfriend, kind of current because death, sad. And they like form a bond because of their like shared relation, like their communal, their unique, different bond with said dead person. Wow, my description sounds really rude, but yeah, I think I know what this is about. In real life, this is about like internet dating and relationships, but I don't really know specifics, so we're gonna put it in the kind of pile. There's so many books left and my battery is flashing at me. My Heart and Other Black Holes. I think this is about like a girl who is suicidal. And falls in love, but I don't really know. We're gonna put it in the like know nothing pile because like I'm pretty vague on that synopsis. We have 2 books from the John Green Book Club. Rebecca Solent's A Field Guide to Getting Lost, and we crossed a bridge and it trembled. Know nothing about either of these. That's an easy pile to put them in. The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This is a dystopian world. That's all I know about it. We'll put it in the maybe pile. The second and third books, I don't know how the series continues, so we're gonna put it in the I have no idea pile. Tragedy in Time. This is a tragicomedy memoir. Don't know the guy or his background much, so I'll put it in the maybe pile because I know what it is, what it's about. It's his life. I just don't know what his life is about. I feel like maybe this could go in the I don't know anything about it pile, but I'm putting it in the maybe pile. Out of the easy, I know this is a historical fiction set in New Orleans, and it is by Recipides, who wrote a lot of great books, but don't know much more about it other than that. I feel like that's a kind of, can I put that in the maybe? I'm putting that in the maybe. How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake. I honestly couldn't tell you anything about this book other than it's called How to Make a Wish by Ashley Herring Blake, and so many people want me to read it. That's actually sad. On the Jellicoe Road, which is by Melina Marchetta. This is about a girl who lives in this like boarding school type thing, and they have like a competition, and she's like head of like her dorm, and her dad died. I don't know. Clearly I know some things about this book. I'm not 100% sure on all of the things. I think this is a maybe. I'll put it in the like I kind of know about this book pile. We have Erase Me in a Lobster Suit, Absurd Internet Ads, and the Real Conversations That Followed. It's pretty much about what it sounds like. I don't know if I can use the title in it, but I know that this is a book that was sent by Quirk Books to me about like marketing and internet marketing, and I feel like that's kind of a maybe. We'll go with a maybe. I kind of know about this. The Disreputable History of Frankie Lloyd Banks. All I know about this is that it's by E. Lockhart and it's feminist. So we'll put that in the no pile. Moonglass by Jessie Kirby. I know this is about a girl whose mom passes away, and it's my favorite author's debut, and honestly, that's all I know about it. I don't know if that's enough to put it in a maybe pile. I think we'll put it in the no, but I'm gonna read it no matter what. We've got The Last Wish of Sasha Cade. This is an arc that I was just sent by the author, and I know it's sad because I tweeted out for sad books and the author tweeted me like, my book's sad. But I don't know. I think this is about a girl with cancer, but I don't know too much about the details of that, so we're gonna put it in the no pile. Next, ooh, what is happening? Next up, we have Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. This is like a mental health book. So yeah, we'll put it in the no pile because like, I don't know that that's enough. Ooh, the no pile just fell down. Anyways, we have Because You Love to Hate Me, a 13 Tales of Villainy, edited by Amory. This is what I call the BookTube book. This is an anthology of villainy stories told by prominent white authors. Forwards and prompts written by booktubers. I know the booktubers involved. I know the authors involved. I know these are about villainy. I know some of the like villain tropes that we use. So I'd say I know about this book enough to put it in the yes, I know the summary pile. This book, while it says, you want to believe your husband, she wants to destroy him. That's not the title. The title is Anatomy of a Scandal by Sarah Vaughan. This is a book, I believe, set in the UK in Parliament. It's a thriller, a domestic thriller, feminist. I think I can put this in the I kind of know about it pile. We've got Fireworks by Katie Coutinho. We're gonna put this in the no pile. I can't even try. Vanishing Girls by Lauren Oliver. This is a YA contemporary about a young girl whose sister goes missing. Don't know more about it than that, so we'll put it in the maybe pile. I think that's good enough for maybe. I don't know. It was intentionally vague, so I think that helps, but I don't know. Everything You Never Told Me by Celestine. This is about a family in Ohio whose the youngest daughter in the family goes missing and dies in like a river or something. And this is about how the family reacts to that death and how it affects all of them, I think. I don't feel confident enough to put that in the yes pile because I don't feel confident that that was right, but I don't feel confident that was wrong. So we're gonna put it in the maybe pile. I know some of those facts were 100% right. Puddin' by Julie Murphy. This is the second book in the Dublin series. This follows our main character's friend in the first book, and it follows her after the beauty pageant and dealing with feminism in her school. I think that's good enough. It's really easy with sequels to feel like you know what the book is about. We have The Star-Touched Queen by Roshni Chokshi. I know this is like an Indian-inspired fantasy, but I don't know more about it, so we're gonna put this in the no pile. Genuine Fraud by E. Lockhart. Put it in the no pile. 27 Hours by Tristina Wright. This is a book, sci-fi, about a bunch of things that are sci-fi related. I know it's super diverse. I know that I started it, couldn't get into it, still want to read it. We'll put it in the no pile. We've got In the Midnight Room by Laura McBride. This is a book about a couple of different girls going through different walks of their lives. I can't really explain it to you more than that because I've read the synopsis a million times and it still doesn't make sense, but every time I read it, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Also, this was sent to me by a publisher. We'll put this in the no pile. Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Penbow. This is a thriller I specifically know nothing about because I want to know nothing going into it. I like my thrillers that way, so we'll put it in the no pile, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkins. This is about a girl who is doing like research at a university, meets this professor or guy or dude, I don't know, who is helping her with the research, and they have romancy times and also there's paranormal things happening. Is that enough to put it in the maybe pile? I want to. We're gonna put it in the maybe pile. We have Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. This is a YA dystopian about a world in which there is not a lot of water left. There is a limited supply of water in this world, and so this follows a mother and her daughter who are holding claim on one of the last water supplies. It's one they own on their family's farm. I think the young girl, I say, is like a teenager, and I think her mom dies, but general plot wise, I know what this is about. Good job, go me. As I have more books that go into the no pile, I'm getting more excited about the yes pile. Anyways, we have Shock of Fall by Nathan Filer. This is one of the oldest books on my TBR, one of the longest books on my physical TBR in terms of like I've owned it the longest, I've wanted to read it the longest, and because of that, what it's about has dwindled in my mind. I know it's a mental health book. Just hit myself in the face with the book. I know it's a mental health book. I know that it was all the rage when I first started watching BookTube a handful of years ago. People were talking about this and I still want to read it, but I don't know enough about it to feel confident putting it in the yes or maybe pile. We're getting through it. Next we have Dangerous Girls. This is about a girl who goes on a spring or summer vacation. Her best friend is murdered and she is the prime suspect, so it's her dealing with that, like the trial and everything. It's a thriller and I've heard great things about it. I think that's enough to put in the yes pile. We've got It's Kind of a Funny Story by Ned Vizzini. This is about a young boy who feels overwhelmed with school and like advanced schooling and ends up having a breakdown and going to like a mental facility, I believe. I think that's yes. We'll go with yes. Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Readin is an alt historical fiction about if Hitler won the war, and there are these like bike races in this alt history for the Allied powers, Axis powers? For the Axis powers, sorry. I know history. And our main character enters this in order to kill Hitler, and sounds epic. And that's definitely a yes. Next up, we have Rudiseptides, Between Shades of Grey. This is a historical fiction in World War II. It follows, I know this follows not like Germans and not like Jewish people. It follows like a different type of person that's not typically talked about in historical fiction for World War II. But I don't know who that is. So I feel like I want to say this is a maybe, but it probably should be a no. We'll put it in the no. Madness So Discreet. This is by Mindy McGinnis. This is a historical fiction set in like the 1800s about a girl who gets pregnant and because of that has to go to like a mental institution, which is wild. I think that's enough to put it in the yes pile. Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close by Jonathan Safran Foer. This is about a young boy whose father died in 9/11 and left him with like a key, and he goes on a journey through New York City to figure out what the key is to, and it's like kind of this like journey of finding what the key is to, but also this journey of like growth and acceptance. Sounds really epic. Also has an adaptation, and I feel like this was definitely a good enough synopsis to put on the yes pile. We have Sing Unburied Sing by Jessica Ward. I don't know anything about this book other than that I've heard good things about it, so we'll put it on the no pile. We have We Are the Ants by Sean David Hutcherson. This is a contemporary speculative type sci-fi story. Super good description there, about a young boy who is not feeling so great about life in the world and things, and then aliens come and abduct him and make things worse and better, and like he has to decide if the world is worth saving or if he and the aliens should just end it. And I think that's a good enough synopsis to put it on the yes pile. Next up, we have Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. This is about a young girl who is like in a Viking-inspired fantasy world. Her brother has died and she sees him alive, and her journey goes from there. I think that's a maybe because I'm not 100% sure about all of those facts. Yeah. The Evolution of Jeremy Marsh. This was sent to me by the author. I know this is for fans of like Simon Versus, Nina LaCour. No, it's about like a boy who, never mind, we're not gonna try, we'll put it in the no pile. Just because it's going in the no pile doesn't mean I don't want to read it. I want to read, I think, all of these books. We'll discuss that when we get to it. But yeah, just because it goes into a pile doesn't mean that affects how I feel about the book. Just means I don't know what it's about. Next up, we have Much Ado About Mean Girls. This is by the author who does those like Star Wars Shakespeare books. This was sent to me by Quirk Books, who publishes them, and this is basically Much Ado About Nothing meets Mean Girls. I know that's in the title, but I also feel like there's not really much more you can like pull out of this book for a synopsis, so we're gonna put it in the yes pile anyway. We have Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, which is about a girl who is dating this boy, and she goes home to Singapore to go to like a family wedding with him, and finds out he is actually like royalty rich at home, and she has to deal with his family, who are wild, or as this book title will say, crazy. Yeah, definitely have watched the movie. Is that cheating? Maybe. Are we putting it in as a yes pile anyway? Definitely. We have like 4 more left. I'm so excited. So we have Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This is a book about a young girl who is a webcomic artist, but she's anonymous. And this follows her dealing with anxiety. And then a boy who is a huge fan of the webcomic transfers to her school, and she like befriends him in a way. But he's a fan, so he talks about it. But she's like the creator, so she doesn't want to talk about it. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of Radio Silence, but not, and Fangirl, but not, and I really want to read it. I think that's enough to put on the yes pile. 3 more. We've got 3 Dark Crowns by Kendra Blake. This is about 3 queens. It's a fantasy world where there are 3 queens born every time a new rule needs to be reigned. Is that the right way to say that phrase? Probably not. And when they grow up, they have to like basically fight for the throne, and it's like a battle to the death. And I think that's good enough to put this on the yes pile. What do you think? Doesn't matter, I'm putting it on the yes pile. Next up we have What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. This is about 2 boys who have a meet cute in New York City during like move-in, and I think they're at a post office, and it's their romance and trying to find each other after they like first meet. And that's all I know, but I feel like that is the synopsis, so I feel like that's fine. Little in Line by Brandy Colbert. I know aspects of this book. I know this book deals with like bipolar disorder and has a biracial caricature and things like that. I don't know if that's even enough to put it in the maybe pile, though. We'll put it in the no. So there are a lot of books on the floor right now. Okay. I feel like the easiest way to do this might actually be to just move the camera. But these piles are kind of disgustingly unorganized. Maybe I vlog style it. Okay, we're gonna try vlog styling it, but I don't really vlog with this camera. So if it's a shit show, I'm sorry. So this is my pile of yeses. Wow, this is a shit show. All right, okay, I tried to vlog style it. That was not a good plan. Got a good system in play. These are all the yeses. So these are books that I basically knew what they were about. Feel confident saying I could give you a synopsis of all of these books. There are 25 books on this. I don't know how many are on my whole list, but I'll put a percentage on the screen of how many of my TBR I feel like I could give you a synopsis about. Out of all of these, I'm looking at them. I think I still want to read all of them. Like, if I'm being really honest, there's probably like a couple I could pull off my TBR, but I'm not going to. Pretty happy with this. I'll go ahead and put those away because my bookshelves are kind of a wreck right now. Here we have the maybes. So the maybes, as a reminder, were the books that, sorry if this camera is shaking. The maybes were books that I thought I could summarize and give you a synopsis of, or I can give you specific parts of the book, but I didn't feel confident in my synopsis either being accurate or being thorough enough. And there are 10 of these. So my camera stopped recording at this point, but luckily I did get a image of the books that I said no to. So these are all of the books that I basically didn't think I had a good summary for or good synopsis for and couldn't really tell you what they were about. And there are 25 books on this pile. Well, that was fun. I hope you thought so. I thought it was fun. What I learned from this is basically I either know 100% about what a book is about or 0%. The amount that was 100% versus 0 was, I think, exactly identical, if not very similar numbers. The part that was in the middle was a much smaller number. And I find that super fascinating. Also, something that I found interesting in this is that with the original Witty novel, she kind of came to the conclusion that if she doesn't know what a book is about, she probably doesn't actually want to read it and might consider unhauling it. For me, I feel like my opinion is very different. There are a lot of books on my like no pile that I don't really know what they're about that I picked up from recommendations that I feel very strongly about, or they're like from authors that I've previously enjoyed and feel confident in wanting to read other books by them. Whereas there's even some books that I completely know what they're about 100% and would consider unhauling over a lot of the books in my no pile. So I found that kind of interesting. I don't think at this point in time I'm gonna unhaul any of these, though that could change. You never know. But what I am trying to do this year, and it's one, not going so well so far, and two, not 100% gonna happen, but what I'm trying to do is read all of these books on my TBR before the end of the year. And obviously that all of them isn't gonna happen, but as many as possible would be great because I want to either know if I love these books or want to unhaul them. Basically, I'm at the point where I'm not gonna bring in any new books, or not many, and I want books to go out. So I want to only be buying like my favorite books of all time, and I want to be reading the books I own and unhauling them if I don't love them, because I want to kind of like streamline my bookshelf. And I'm at the point where I don't really want to get rid of anything I own and enjoy, and I don't really want to get rid of anything on my TBR. So the only way to do that is to read those TBR books and go from there. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much, Megan, for recommending it and suggesting it. I had so much fun filming this. I hope you all had fun watching it. And if you did, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sorry I'm so close to the viewfinder. in this end clip. It's weird. I know. I'm sorry. Anyways, have a good one. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.